the name of God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Please be seated. So last week we started talking about ripples to waves, this conception of taking little actions and God using them and amplifying them to bring about waves of grace. Today we hear some of that language in the gospel with Jesus talking a little bit about how simple, small acts like giving a cup of water can be a gift that is noticed by God and touches people. Similarly, how important it is not to cause somebody to stumble, but to help them walk unhindered into the ways of Jesus. This morning, as we think about waves, ripples, and little acts, folks from Building and Grounds are going to come forward and talk about how small actions and some large actions too end up creating waves of ministry and grace here at St. Mark's.
Good morning. I'm Scott Conrad. This is John Robichaud. We're from Buildings and Grounds. You know, we talk about the way to tie in some of this stuff to the sermon. These sermons often, you think about the parable or the allegory or the story that is put forth, and sometimes it's a little gory. Today he talked about cutting off limbs and that are not working. We in Buildings and Grounds, we're all about fixing things and keeping them working. However, we have to acknowledge that now in our times of difficult budget, sometimes we got to let things go in order to keep the rest working. So that's kind of a nice fit for what we're hoping to talk about. So the Buildings and Grounds, as Peter talked about, turning ripples into waves. St. Mark's is called to serve all people in the area as a guiding light and a spiritual home. By its nature, Buildings and Grounds ministry focuses inward. So some of the other ministry teams do a more recognizable job of outreach than we do, but we're responsible for the place they all call home. Some of the groups that use our facilities are Cub Scouts, an organization that helps prepare young people to make ethical and moral choices over their lifetimes. Alcoholics Anonymous, a worldwide fellowship open to any alcoholic to help them stay sober and to help others achieve sobriety. The East Longmeadow Moms Club, which is a support group that gives stay-at-home moms a place to come to share experiences for much needed socialization and an opportunity to seek guidance and advice from their peers. The Community Garden offers a place for any and all to till their own crop of fresh vegetables. This building is an emergency meeting point for Meadowbrook Elementary School, as well as a heating and cooling point during times of extreme temperature. The list goes on. This is our home base. This is where we meet for worship. This is where we gather for fellowship. This is where we work to serve God. Buildings and Grounds works to keep the rectory, church, and grounds inviting and safe places. The church is our spiritual home, and the rectory is the actual home of Father Peter and his family. Think about the chores you have in your actual homes. Just like the upkeep that is needed there, we have the same types of jobs here, sometimes on a bigger scale. In order to keep our properties inviting and safe places, we need to do the yard work, plow the driveway and parking lot, pay the utilities, take care of the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, replace old equipment, and perform improvements. We have some significant issues coming. The elevator is 15 years old and showing signs of malfunction. The heating units for this room and the administrative wing are 33 years old, well beyond their expected lifetimes. The roof on the admin wing is 8 years old, 15 years old in the Great Hall, and over 20 years old on the rectory. The parking lot is in need of repaving and repainting, and there are some significant repairs needed in the rectory as well.
So good morning. Again, I'm John Robichaud, member of Vestry and Buildings and Grounds. So, not sure if everyone here knows, but did you know it costs roughly $30,000 a year, and about 500 or more man hours, human hours, to keep our building open and running at basically a bare minimum of operation. And so we often get asked, what can we do to help? And a small increase in either monthly or annual pledge can have quite a dramatic effect and impact. So we ask, can you give an additional $25 a month? And so to put things into perspective, because that's how I often look at it when I'm faced with spending money, how much is $25 and how much of a difference can it really make? So $25 is about 5 coffees at Starbucks, maybe 4 depending on how you have your coffees. But what impact can it have here at St. Mark's? It could heat or cool this great hall and the sanctuary for 2 months out of the year. It allows us to plow just a half an inch of snow in our entire grounds. This funds can help keep our facilities clean for a month. Can provide a meeting space for one ministry team monthly. How about we think bigger? What if you could do $50 a month? How much is $50? Again, putting it into perspective. Scott and I were talking, it's either one dinner for one person, really nice dinner for one person, or possibly one dinner out for 2, depending on where you go. And so again, what could be the impact of this small change each month? Again, heat or cool this great hall or the sanctuary for 4 months out of the year. Plow 1 inch of snow. Keep funding our facilities and keeping them clean for 2 months. And also allow us to have a space for our ministry teams to meet, maybe 2 times. So as you can see, these small ripples can really transform into waves. And so together, we can ensure that our powerful ministry teams have a place to meet and thrive. We can keep a place where the AA groups can meet and an AA member can come to a meeting and make a good choice and make it home safely that day. We can help our young parishioners learn more about God in a welcome and safe environment. And we can ensure our future here as a guiding light to the community and spiritual home for the community and for our congregation. Individually, we make ripples, but together we can make waves.